And I'm sure that people will actually learn a bit about it today, and maybe kind of put in a bit of, there's so many herbalists out there, and they're don't really not sure exactly what herbs do for the body, and it'd be good to get a bit of information about that. So how you've been doing about 20 years? You've been a herbalist.
20 years, yes. Well, over 20 years actually. I started probably in about 1996, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, a long time. So I've seen a lot of people in Scotland. I've always practiced in Scotland.
So what made you go into? Being a herbalist. What's you thought one day I just want to be a herbalist, or did you find out more about before you became one? What interested you? What's the factor?
I suppose I've always been interested in plants ever since I was little. I remember even when I was a little girl, I used to make those little miniature gardens. I was fascinated by plants, and I had a grandfather who was actually a gardener in a stately home. So plants were always in the family. We always talked about them. We were always interested in plants. And I came across this course in herbal medicine, and I just couldn't believe such a thing existed. I was so excited. It was a big thing to take on. It was a 4-year full-time course. I had to travel to do it as well. It was a lot of effort really to take it on. There was only one place you could do it in the whole of Britain as well. So I did it. I completed it. And I've never looked back. I just love herbal medicine. There's so much to learn. You never stop learning. There's always something new to learn about.
I know that some parts of the world, like in the East, they've been using herbal medicine for like thousands of years.
Absolutely, yes.
Thousands of years to heal.
Well, this is it, yes. I mean, herbal medicine it's the oldest form of medicine in the whole world. I mean, it's thousands of years old, if you think about it. Every culture in the world used plants as the basis of their medicine, and most cultures still do. It's really only in the West, maybe even only in English-speaking countries, where we seem to have lost the art of herbal medicine. In most countries in the world, they still use it a lot. And even all of our medicine, our usual conventional medicines, all the drugs, the allopathic medicines, most of them, I would say more than half, are actually based on plants, and people don't even realise that. You're still using plants as medicine, even when you're taking drugs. They're changing rapidly. The whole approach to medicine is changing, but without plants, conventional medicine wouldn't even exist.
Yeah,
so it's fascinating.
It's fascinating. I kind of believe that what I think is God created the world, and whatever people believe in it, but I think the plants are there, and the man were created, and that the medicine was the plants. The plants been grown to. And there was somebody said that different parts of the world, some herbs are grown because certain condition is, like for example in the UK, people find eczema might be one of the conditions rather than the East. People suffer with skin conditions, and certain plants are grown in Scotland or England. You think, how does that work? It's amazing that everything, the plant is actually grown in that country because of that certain condition that people might be suffering from could be quite high, and the plant is actually grown in their country.
That's a really, really interesting idea. I think that the kind of conditions that you might get if you live in a certain part of the world, for example, the west coast of Scotland tends to be sort of wet and warm, and the east side is cold and dry, and you will probably find that the flora of those parts of the country differ quite a lot as well. And I personally like to use native herbs for that reason. I think that they're there for a reason, and I think they do treat local conditions very well. I think you're more likely to get certain conditions in a damp part of the country and other conditions in a dry part, and I think the plants they recognise that almost. Yes, I absolutely agree with you there.
Yes, I think this is something I've noticed. I thought, wow, it's as though everything has been planned out, for the people for that, area, the country. and the plants are actually growing to help those, the population of that country.
Yeah.
It's amazing how things are. Some people say there's many things in the media saying, herbal medicine is not safe, and what would you say about that? Is this,
It's a very broad statement. It's easy to say things like, you hear it all the time. People just say things like, "There's no evidence that herbal medicine works." There's plenty of evidence if you care to look. Plenty of evidence. Herbal medicine still has a little bit of catching up to do. There's a lot of research that still needs to be done. We have thousands of years of experience, so we know what the plants do. And a lot of scientific research has been done. So we're catching up, but there's still plenty of evidence. And if you go to countries in the world where herbal medicine has a very strong tradition, places like China, Germany, Russia, there is so much scientific research. If you care to look, look at India, there's so much scientific research there. There's plenty, and it depends how you use it. There are some very strong plants out there. They're very effective, and they need to be used carefully. And you also need to know what you're doing. You can't just go and take any old plants and assume that they're all gentle. They have a strong effect, and you need to know how to use them. But I think it's not quite fair to make a bland, broad statement like they're not safe.
I totally agree. And unfortunately, maybe in the media they may be putting that statement because I believe that people are so used to going to a doctor and getting some pills or medication and pharmaceuticals. Well, that's my opinion. Is maybe making a bit of money from that, a lot of money from that. And but they're so, as you mentioned about in India, China, they use herbal medicine.
They really
in
do.
the hospitals.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, even in Germany, I believe that every herbalist in Germany has to be a doctor, and every doctor is a herbalist. Yes. And if you go to a pharmacy in Germany looking for a medicine for a condition, you're very likely to be offered a herbal medicine first, and then a conventional medicine afterwards. They have plant medicines are completely normal in Germany and in a lot of Europe. That's right. Yeah.
So I think we are catching up. There has been also a lot of things in social media that I've been actually seeing a lot of stuff popping up, and people are introducing herbal medicine and talking about what plants do, which is really good because that's just about increasing awareness. And so more people know it, the more. And I've noticed that, especially my friends who are actually going towards more of using more herbal medicine, which is it's a good sign.
Is it? Yes. Yeah. I think it comes and goes a little bit as well. It's changed, I think, with the amount of information that's available now. People they do know a lot more. If you're interested, you can find out a huge amount about herbs. Of course, in the past, I think when I first qualified, nobody had even heard of it. So at least now, people can look it up. They can find out things. They can, if they want to self-medicate. There's plenty of information out there. Yeah.
Also, we're very lucky to get. On the internet. We've got the internet and everything. So people are actually doing more research and getting to know it, which is really, really good. And I can remember also the time with aromatherapists. I had friends who were using oils. And then people didn't know much about aromatherapy, and it was quite difficult to explain to people how oils also could help the body. So, and now it's like everybody's really catching on, and I know, but also by healthy eating, as we know, we hear lovely, let your food be thy, and medicine.
Hippocrates.
Yes. So that. So let's talk about what kind of herbs, herbal medicine help with? I know one of the things, let's talk about weight loss. Can somebody wanted to lose a bit of weight, would herbal medicine help?
It can help a lot in that what you would focus on if you're trying to lose weight. You're looking at your diet, your exercise, but you also need to look at the way your body works. So it really helps to improve elimination in your body. Look at your metabolism. You know, herbs can really help to boost metabolism. They can help elimination. They can help elimination through the kidneys, the lymphatic system. There's a lot you can do with herbal medicine, yes. And there are some herbs that even seem to help with the breakdown of fats as well. So I think there is, there's a lot of potential there.
I like when you said about how it works in, you know, in a way detoxes your, you know, liver and your kidneys, and if they are fully functional, then most people are most likely to lose weight that way. Whereas a lot of things out there saying to lose weight, you know, losing the fat, but actually if your system is not working, functioning properly, they may lose weight quickly, but it'll gain as well. So the system has to work properly. So I was the other day I was explaining to my son, saying like, imagine there's, you know, the sink tap. You know, you could put the water through the sink, and your pipes may look clean, but when you open the pipes, it's got all this gunk in it. So and I see this is how I look at the herbs. You drink it, you're cleaning that stuff out, so it's a more efficient, you know, to work properly.
Exactly. No, I think that's a really good way of looking at it.
Because it is, you need to explain it simply. People are like, how does that work? And you explain something like that. Well, yes, and that's something that he understood very quickly. So this is how I look at the system. You know, even to lose weight, and I say to people, you know, just you need to really look after your liver, your kidneys, your digestive system. It's very, very important. All those other organs for you, you know, to feel the well-being, the health side of it, and I think, you know, herbal medicine does that. It's not just about just losing weight. It's about holistic health and well-being, the whole kind of working system of working.
Yes, keeping your liver and kidneys working well is really vital, I think, especially in something where you're changing things quite a lot. I think it's quite good to have sort of a detox thing going on at the same time.
So what's in the? I mean, we've got weight loss support tea here. You go that we created. That's here. So what's in this? What can I give?
There's quite a few herbs in there. There are some, as I mentioned, there are some that are geared to sort of giving your metabolism a bit of a boost.
Yeah.
So I think artichoke is quite well known for that. And there's some cleavers in there as well, and a lovely herb called lemon verbena, which again is just quite slightly, very gently stimulating to the metabolism. And at the same time, if you're doing that, then you also want to kind of help with elimination as well. If things are starting to sort of move a bit faster, and you're doing exercise as well, and everything's sort of speeding up a little bit, then I think you also need to look at the detox side of it as well. So there's some kidney herbs in there. There's things like cleavers. There's dandelion leaf. They're both gentle diuretics. And there's also some herbs for the liver and to improve bowel metabolism as well. So there's some dandelion leaf, and artichoke will do that too. And kelp, of course, the best herb of all for boosting metabolism. The kelp in there, full of vitamins and minerals as well. Yeah. So that's your detox.
Detoxing, and that will help people to lose. I mean, I've been trying this tea, and I think it's amazing. I have a few people who've been drinking the tea, and they have started to feel, they say, slimmer, but they also feel that kind of going in. So it's a slow process. I don't believe in anything that works so fast. You know, I personally believe that anything that you lose weight quickly, you will put on quickly back. There's something. I think the body takes a while to work. So this is what I liked about teas, because teas you could drink about how many cups a day. I mean, I drink about 3 cups. You know, it's not
I
doing
think
any harm.
3 is 2 or 3 a day is good. Yeah, I think if you, as you say, I think it should be a gentle thing. It should be something that you can maintain for a reasonable period of time, so that your body gets used to it and it incorporates it into your daily routine. Yeah, I think that's quite important.
Let's talk about this. Some ladies were mentioning I got some questions. It's about menopause. You know, we've got a menopause tea here, and what's in this one? That's something that a lot of women complain about, kind of heat, hot kind of, how can I, not heat rashes, but obviously the temperature goes up and the hormones kind of unbalance and a lot of changes that happens in the body, and it makes a woman a bit uncomfortable. And this tea that you've got in this one, what kind of leaves do you have in this? Herbs do you have in this?
There's some herbs. There's quite a lot of herbs in there that are useful as sort of very gentle hormonal support. Herbs like there's borage and a little bit of ginseng as well, so quite useful for balancing your hormones. And red clover is another one as well, that's quite useful, it's full of phytoestrogens. And then some quite relaxing herbs as well, because I think a lot of people, it's quite an anxious time for some women, and it's quite useful to have some gentle relaxing herbs. Again, there's motherwort, there's lemon verbena, and there's some rose and lime flower which help with sleep. That's another thing that some people find, they just can't sleep. Insomnia is a problem. There's some cooling herbs like borage and motherwort, again is very cooling. A bit of sage as well, that's used for hot flushes.
All right, yeah, so I think the tea wise is as it is. Do you think somebody should take a tea or I mean, this got all the leaves. There's also roots and there's flowers that you have.
This one is mainly leaves and flowers. I think if you're using roots, they need to be really simmered for a little while. The leaves you can make an infusion, let it infuse for say 10-15 minutes. If you're using roots or bark, they're usually simmered for about 10-15 minutes, on a cooker, in a saucepan.
Because I like kind of simmering in a wee pan for about 15 minutes or so. I know that a lot of people might be busy in life and they don't want to keep it. They like a tea bag, put it in, keep it. So that was, but I think actually it's actually ideal to kind of simmer it. People, they could take it with people like herbal medicine. Some people might say it tastes awful, but those ones I've been trying, it tastes lovely. I mean, it's lovely.
There's rose. The lemon verbena is a lovely, refreshing, lemony sort of citrusy taste. It's got a little bit of rose in there, which is sort of a very sort of pretty flowery taste. And I think overall it's quite a sort of a nice, pleasant taste, that one.
Yeah, I suppose there may be one or two people are not keen in kind of herbal medicine, they don't like tea generally, maybe, but if somebody's really keen in teas, I mean, they'll be really they would love the herbal teas.
The lime flower is lovely tasting. It's a really sort of got a nice sort of honey taste to it, which I think it's a beautiful tea. I mean, if you've not had them, if you're not used to them, it might take a little while to get used to that kind of flavour, but I think it's once you've had it a few times, I think you can appreciate that they are quite pleasant tasting teas.
I take it in the morning. I like the digestive tea up here. I love that. In the Chinese medicine, they say your digestive system is the key to everything. Your
Absolutely,
health,
yes.
And that's where those when they do acupuncture, sometimes they aim for the tummy area, and they believe that is amazing tea. I love this tea. Tastes nice.
It's quite sort of quite warming, isn't it? It's a lovely, got a warm, almost spicy taste. I think it's a beautiful tea, that one.
I think people's digestion is, as I said, is one of the big factors. And if people sort this part of their system out, they will find that other illnesses may slowly disappear. Eventually. But this is very, very important. This is where all the food goes, and all the nutrients kind of from there it kind of goes to other parts of the cells. If that's not working properly, then you know, affects our health, overall health.
No, you're right. That's where it all starts. Yeah, yeah. If you've got to absorb your nutrients, you need to metabolize your digest well, metabolize your food well, and absorb those nutrients. That's where it all starts.
Yeah. So that's good. I mean, I'm going to have a look at obviously some people may be asking some questions. We could see some. We've got some comments. Let me see if I could get to the comments here. With said, interesting to, but can't hear properly, unfortunately, but we can still see you. Sorry about that, guys, because we got a kind of a technical hitch with the line. We can't get any good signal, so sorry about that. Hello, appears to hello from Glamour Gran. Could watch it later. Yes, it is recorded, but you can watch it later. Unfortunately, they can't hear it. People can't really hear that properly. Our voice, the signal. There's a poor signal, unfortunately. Sorry about that. This is a signal. I'm sure eventually. I know. It's shame. This is really, really interesting. Yeah, we can hear everything through, ladies. Oh, right, okay, we can hear everything through. Thank you, Lee. I can see Samina. Hi, Samina. I'm sorry about the signal, but I hope you're kind of getting some of the information, and it is recorded, so you can watch it again. We're actually in an amazing location. I love it, you know. It's actually perfect for our topic today. That's the thing. If you've got any questions, Jenny, what kind of clients do you get to come to your clinic? You know, what's the clients like? What's one of the major issues people come to you with?
I suppose mainly I would see people with chronic illnesses. So things like skin conditions, chronic skin conditions, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and a lot of gynecological problems as well. That kind of thing is, I do see a lot of women, and herbal medicine is fantastic for treating gynecological problems. There are lots of wonderful herbs for that. So mainly some chronic conditions, people with chronic fatigue, who've maybe sort of been receiving conventional treatment for a long time and finding that it's not working, or maybe they've gone through all the different drugs that they've had stronger and stronger ones. They don't want to keep taking such strong medication. They're getting side effects. So they're looking for an alternative to things like that, so looking for a more gentle, natural approach. And also, I think, looking for things that they can do for themselves, not just relying on drugs all the time. So looking at changes they can make to their diet and lifestyle. So a combination of things, really, using herbs and lifestyle changes and diet to help
So
themselves.
how often does someone need to come to you? Is it a regular basis, or they have to see you once a week, or if someone's got an issue or a chronic?
Well, it varies a lot depending on the condition, but usually I would see someone to begin with maybe every sort of 3-4 weeks for a couple of months, and then if things seem to be going well and they need to keep taking the herbs, I'll just keep in touch with people every couple of months just to make sure everything's going okay. Very, very variable, but that's the kind of way we usually do it, just until somebody feels that they don't need the herbs anymore, or perhaps they might just take herbs now and again just to keep things in balance.
That's good. Does it affect with if their own medication, if they got doctor gave they maybe taking some medication from the doctors, would that affect it, or would you recommend, would you look at their medications thinking, well, you can't take this because you're taking prescribed medication?
If you're taking medication, it's always important to see someone who's qualified in herbal medicine, because there are some herbs that maybe would affect the different medication you're taking. They might affect the absorption of it. Some herbs might do the same as the drugs, so you don't want to be kind of increasing the effect. So I think it's important to make sure that the herbs that you're taking are compatible with your medicine, but there's no reason why you shouldn't use herbs and medicine together. But it is important to get some advice on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. What would you recommend to somebody like who doesn't really have an experience, doesn't want to go to a herbalist, for example? And I mean, I've been kind of trying things out myself. I wouldn't recommend, but certain things like maybe taking lavender, and I've been doing my own research and just like using dandelion roots and leaves. And what would you say to those people? I mean, obviously those things are safe because I did my own research, but maybe somebody's going out and just buying things is not really a good idea. Maybe the best thing to do is maybe come to yourself and get a bit of advice about.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. Again, I think it's you. Just even if you sort of just come once, just to find out if what you're taking is the right thing, or maybe if there's something else that you could be taking that's better, and just to have a look at the background to your health issues as well, just to make sure that what you're doing is the right approach and the best approach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you had anybody that come to you and they took some, sometimes you could give somebody some herbal medicine and it doesn't work? Have you had any clients that you've treated them, but for some reason he doesn't, it didn't help? I'm just going to say, well, maybe you haven't, but it's maybe the other things.
Some health conditions can be quite complex, and so sometimes it takes a while to get to the bottom of what's going on, because we always try and find the root cause of health problems, not just treat the symptoms. And so sometimes it can take a little while to sort of really work out what's going on. And I think if you've got the right herbal medicine, if you're taking the right things, you can usually tell straight away. Even if it's not going to sort of maybe cure the condition overnight, but people usually know that they feel a bit better. Maybe they're sleeping better. Maybe they've got a bit more energy. There's always something that they just kind of tell that they feel a bit better, and so you kind of get the feeling that that's the right herb for them. And you can build on that then. But occasionally it takes a little while to sort of find where we're going, what the right direction is, and what you should be focusing on. Yeah.
So have you had people coming back to you, testimonials, maybe said, Jenny, this is amazing. This has really helped me. It's just
yes, yeah. I mean, sometimes I've treated people